Welcome to the new Champions Postgame show. Highly emotional, never rational. Welcome to the new Champions Postgame show. Thanks for stopping by. Hate to see you go. Welcome to the Postgame show. Welcome to the Postgame show. Break us down, build us up. Who stood on the head? Who fucked up? Break us down, build us up. Who stood on the head? Who fucked up? Welcome to the new Champions Postgame show.
All right, and welcome into another post-game show for this year, New Champions post-game show for this year, the final regular season one. Don, thank you for joining me tonight. I know you had a little bit of an injury yourself and almost put yourself on IR today. So
yeah, that was exciting.
With that being said, though, we are going to go over the loss for about 3 minutes. We're going to laugh at the Patriots a little bit for Gerard Mayo's last probably, FU to Robert Kraft there. And, talk about some playoff stuff with the Bills. And we officially know who they're going to be playing. They're going to be playing the Broncos. We don't know what time they're playing, but I'm going to assume it's probably the Sunday 1 o'clock game, because they're not gonna waste a prime time game on
the Bills
on a 2-7 seed.
Yeah.
But you never know. There is that outside chance that they're like, oh, rookie Bo Nix versus MVP Josh Allen.
Unless they put the Houston game, maybe.
Like I said, I could see that. I see that
Yeah.
more as like the 4 o'clock game on Saturday rather than, but we'll get into all that here in a little bit.
Yeah.
I do want to, all kidding aside, I do want to touch on the Bills game a little bit because that's what we are here. We're at New Champions. We're, Buffalo Media Network. So definitely want to touch on that a little bit. The Bills did lose the game 23-16. Did have the Mike White's final drive there. They did go for it on 4th down, which ended the game there. The Patriots definitely looked like they were playing for their coach today in Gerard Mayo.
Definitely.
Which, whether I agree with it or not, it's still funny to funny. And Gerard Mayo got fired afterwards. So, which either tells you one of two things happened. He knew that he was done anyways, and is like, guys, I'm getting fired anyways after this game, and they wanted to play for him because he's, former player, kind of a player coach, or players coach, not a player coach, players coach, and they wanted to play for him. The other thing that could have happened too is Robert Kraft probably told him to go out there and just don't lose or don't win the game, because we'll then have the first overall pick. We can bring in somebody like a Travis Hunter or something like that, or something to trade back, protect, do something to protect Drake May, anything like that. And he went out and he went out and won the game. So, not in that room, not anything like that, but it's funny to see how the mighty have fallen, right? Once they lost Brady, they kind of fell back a little bit. Did play the Bills, in the wild card game a couple years ago. That's Josh's perfect game that he had. And then they didn't really do much after that as far as, in season goes the last couple of years. Belichick leaves, and now they're just all completely in shambles. So it's definitely nice to see, how the mighty have fallen there with the Patriots, because I was so for a while just like.
And wasn't the Gerard Mayo situation just super weird? Like, they didn't interview him. There was no process of interviewing other coaches. They just gave him the job because it was part of his contract that he signed back in like 2019 or something that he did with Belichick. And it was like, great, he had a 1-year audition. Did they have to make the playoffs for this guy to keep his job at this point? Like,
I don't know. I mean, I
don't know how much they really wanted him there at that point.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know it was part of, the whole Belichick succession plan and everything like that. But, at the same time, I don't care if it's in a contract or not. Like, at least interview the guys to see if,
Yeah.
that's not something you should be putting in a contract for a player
Right.
for a coach that's on the team or anything like that. And I know that we all know that the original succession plan was Josh McDaniels,
Yep. And
and
with
that
that didn't work out.
yeah.
With
No, go ahead.
with that whole situation, him getting fired today, like usually you see that happen tomorrow on Black Monday, but then I think that immediately goes towards, are they going to try to get Mike Vrabel? The Jets already interviewed him. If I'm a divisional opponent, I'm okay with him getting Vrabel.
Yeah. Well, speaking on that real quickly, Don. I don't know. I don't know if you heard what or saw on Twitter what Ryan Poles said earlier today on the radio. Is he was asked specifically about Ben Johnson. He said he's a great play caller, but we need to hire a leader of men. So whether that's a shot at Ben
Maybe that's
Johnson
a divisional
or,
thing, right?
I don't know, but maybe they're trying to get ahead of everything and go get Mike Vrabel before the Patriots do, because that's the thing with Mike Vrabel is he's always been considered a leader of men, and
Why
Ben Johnson may not be available until
after
it's
just an awkward
whatever, yeah.
It's just an odd situation. I don't know if you have a young quarterback you're trying to develop, I don't know if Vrabel's the guy to bring in there. He never developed a quarterback in Tennessee.
No, he had what? He had Tannehill, and then he had Levis, right? He also did have Mariota too, right? At one
Mariota
point,
maybe. I don't know. Either way, like a couple quarterbacks you could have developed and just didn't, and like you have to bring in a real offensive guru to really develop them. That was part of my concern with Josh early on, was like, if you bring in a defensive, which McDermott was a defensive background head coach. So I kind of see the same situation here for the Bears and the Patriots. You better know exactly who you're bringing in.
Right.
It's not a Lions situation. Like Jared Goff was a developed quarterback. He had been to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Dan Campbell was a great situation for him to go to. This is different for those two teams. You need to make sure those two quarterbacks develop and not regress like C.J. Stroud did this year.
Well, and that's the thing with C.J. Stroud is I think that he had that sophomore slump that everybody talks about. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know how much more of a slump that Caleb Williams could go into, to be honest with you. I mean, he's not. Let's be serious here, real quickly. Is the media pundits all talked about it? He's going in the best situation. He's going in, has the best receiver group of any rookie. Has a really good defense. Has everything set up for success for him. But on the flip side, they all said the Bills were going to miss the playoffs.
Exactly.
So who are we actually listening to here? I will tell you that I still think, and I still go with what I had said earlier this year when we were doing our draft prep and everything like that. I still think that Caleb Williams is a bust. I don't think he's going to be as bad as, say, like a Jamarcus Russell bust, but I think that he's going to be probably very, very similar to like a Justin Fields type situation where he may catch on as a good backup, a situational quarterback type situation, but.
So Mitch Trubisky, all previous Bears quarterbacks. Maybe, I don't know, Blake Bortles back in the day. Maybe he can go on one playoff run, but behind a really good defense.
Well, that's the thing.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing you got to remember is even with like Blake Bortles, he still had his good games. He still had a couple games here and there that they won because of him. Unfortunately, this year, and I understand that he's a rookie, they won those games almost in spite of Caleb Williams. Like that's the thing. Like I almost compare it to like when the Bills had Josh Allen in 2018. You saw things along the way that are like, oh, I see what he's trying to do there. I see the growth throughout the year. Caleb Williams has been like this all year. He has not gone up. Has not gone back.
The only thing I'd say that he got a little bit better with was the turnovers went down, and he got more efficient as the season went on, and that's probably a lot to do with coaching.
He didn't throw the ball. He didn't put the ball in harm's situation. Like, I hate saying it this way, but let's go back and look at Peyton Manning. Holds the rookie interception record because he literally
Just chucked it around.
Because you have to. You have to take those lumps. You have to take those chances. He's learning the game. Oh, I'm putting this here, and it got an interception. Okay, now I got to put it somewhere else. Now I got to learn to know go. I don't think Caleb Williams has that, to be honest with you, 100%. So, but
I guess we'll find out.
Getting back to the Patriots and Bills.
James Cook, 1,000 yards, touchdown record. We would love to see him get 17, but we'll take 16. Ties OJ, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. I saw a parlay for a guy, I don't know if it was on Twitter or maybe Facebook or something, but he bet 5 or 6 running backs over 1,000 yards, and Cook was the last one he needed to go to hit it. So I'm sure that guy's pretty happy today. Hopefully he didn't cash that out. Josh played 1 snap. That was what I thought he was going to do.
MVP effort from Josh.
MVP effort right there. 1 snap, 1 handoff. Jogged off the field and hopefully stayed warm.
Did you put it out yet? I know you were broken today. I know you're a little bit broke, but did you?
Yeah, that threw me for a little bit of a loop.
Did you put the graphic out yet about?
Hasn't gone out yet.
It's gonna be a little pot stirring thing, but
sure.
He's minus 380 at this point right now. I mean, that's all but.
I don't know
assured.
what the odds are right now, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's all but assured being, because he, just to really quickly touch on this, because I don't want to make this MVP debate or anything like that. We did that. We can do that on Third Manageable. We, our other shows can do that.
Did it last night with Jake on
exactly.
Buffalo Blueprint. So
he has 80 less snaps than Lamar Jackson, and he has almost 3 full games.
11 quarters, I believe.
11 quarters Josh Allen has sat out this year because the Bills were so far ahead of teams that they were able to pull him out and sit him in end of game situations. Yep. So, I mean, and that's what are you going to do? I mean, there's a reason why that he is where he is right now. He is, and I'm going to say this. It's going to come down to 3 players for the Offensive Player of the Year: Lamar, Saquon, and Jamar Chase. Especially with him winning the Triple Crown.
What about Burrow? They're going to put Burrow in that conversation.
I don't think that he's an
Offensive
Chase player. Correct. I think, and that's the same. That's the same reason why I don't look at Lamar as MVP. I think that he had a great year. He had one of the best years known to football. And that's why I think he'll ultimately win that Offensive Player of the Year. But that Offensive Player of the Year is based on stats. That's a stat
100%.
award.
That's the argument.
That is a stat award. The MVP is being the most valuable player to your team. Josh Allen, you take him away. I don't care what Ravens fans, what Ravens flock says. The Bills are a 4-win team. You saw it today. They couldn't even do anything. And I get it. There's no game plan or anything like that. But I'm sure the Patriots weren't game planning for the Bills' backups either. So it was very similar to a preseason game. I don't think the Bills are more than a 4 to 6 win team without Josh Allen.
Without Josh, yeah.
And Lamar Jackson coming off of the Ravens, I still think that they're an 8 to a 10 win team. So I mean, I think that huge jump between because the Ravens have 12 wins or 12-5, so you're talking maximum of four game difference, whereas the Bills are a 13-4 team. That's an 8 minimum of 7 game difference if you go back. So I truly think that Josh will win the MVP. All kidding aside, he went out there, continued his streak. He's at 115 games, which is awesome. Because we always say it on this network from any one of the shows, your best ability is availability, and that really is one of the reasons why that we know that Josh wanted to continue that record. So I'm glad that they were able to accommodate him, and something weird didn't happen on the first play where he got hurt. Knock on wood with that. Got out of the game relatively clean. And unfortunately, it was a loss. But also on the flip side, as fans and everything else, with the loss, the team in the division that is the worst team in the division, that is one of the worst teams in the conference, one of the worst teams in the NFL this year, got most likely a little bit worse because they're not going to be able to get that top pick. So I take it as a win more than anything else. So I would like to.
Jets officially won that game 32-20, worsening their draft position.
Also, too, on top of that, shout out to the guys on No One to Blame from this morning with the parlays and stuff like that. Tyreek Hill basically quit on his team in the halfway through the third quarter.
Tyreek Hill quit 5 weeks ago. He had one good game.
I get that. Yeah. I get that, but I mean, he looked like he was still running hard, still playing, and everything like that. And then it's like all of a sudden I don't want to say he took himself out because we don't know what happened. We don't know if Mike McDaniel's like, "Are you feeling okay?" Season's over anyways. Hop off. Broncos are up 150-0 right now. So, with that being said, I mean, even still, we know the Bills are going to be playing the Broncos because that game itself, that was 38-0. Haven't seen a Chiefs loss that bad in a while. Obviously none of their starters were playing or anything like that. So, but with that being said, let's move on to some of the playoff things. Real quickly though, let's do the Cavanish drive of the game. I'm going to call it as that final drive. I know it's a little bit funny one because of that, but that's the one that kind of clinched. They could have driven down the field. They could have scored a touchdown. They could have won the game. Whatever. That last drive, I'm calling it the drive of the game because it ended up losing the game for the Bills, and it in turn gave the Patriots the fourth overall pick. Fourth pick instead of the number 1 overall pick. So with that being said, that's the Cavanish drive of the game. Definitely give them a call. Check them out on Uber for any rides to your game, any rides to the game, restaurant, anything that you need. Give them a call over there at Cavanish Family Taxi. With that being said, let's move on to the postseason stuff.
Yep.
I know they were coming out a little bit after the games ended. Do we have any idea what time things are at this point right now?
I don't. I looked it up before we went live. I haven't seen anything, but if anyone sees anything, drop in the chat. I'm going to do a quick look right now for it.
I'm on Google. I just refreshed the scoreboard and nothing's updated. And usually that's pretty quick to be updated. So.
All we have, I think, is the matchups. Usually this is something they'll put out after the last game. Like Schefter will be the first guy to have it out.
Right.
Turn your notifications on or something. We'll
right.
retweet it or put it out there. But we do have the matchups at least. We know who's playing who.
So we're of the mind here. We didn't go over it yet. I know you and I were talking about it offline. We truly think the Bills game is going to be that Sunday 1:00 slot because we don't think that they're gonna waste the time on a 2 versus 7 matchup in one of the prime slots. But
yeah, these are some good games. I mean, like the only other one they could potentially put there would be like Washington and Tampa, and I think they're going to put Jaden Daniels. I think they're going to.
Jaden Daniels is going in prime time.
He's getting a primetime game.
And that's kind of what I was going to get to right now is saying the caveat would be maybe they're looking at the game and being like, oh, MVP Josh Allen versus rookie sensation Bo Nix. Maybe they put that game up there. And
the only one I could see would be the Chargers-Texans game.
But that feels more like a Saturday at 4:30 game than anything else. Start the weekend out with that game and,
One thing that I've noticed they have been trying to do, it really won't happen, but is they try to put teams that are playing in the AFC kind of on the same day and then the NFC. Obviously, with the Monday night game, it kind of screws it up, but I think you'll see some sort of pattern along with that.
All right. So
but yeah,
let's go over. Let's start.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's start in the NFC real quickly. So we got the game tonight still. So we don't officially know 100%. We don't know officially 100%.
who's playing who yet, but
Well, no, we don't know 100% in the NFC yet because we don't have the final game got flexed with the
Right.
Lions Minnesota game. That's going to be. I still think that's one of the worst things that could happen to either one of those teams because you're either the first seed or you're the fifth seed. You know, I feel bad for the team that has to go against another 14-2 team. So, but I'm gonna welcome our partner, my co-host on Third and Manageable. I'm gonna bring Student up here real quickly so we can get his thoughts on everything as well as we go through the playoff matchups.
Yo, what up, guys? How we doing? Everybody can hear me okay?
what a
Yes, sir.
yeah. It looks like you're using
What's
a
up, buddy?
480p camera.
Oh, am I really? Is it too close?
Just put your hand over top of
it's
it
just
so
not focusing.
it's just not focused. No, like up against it. There you go.
Yeah, it's better.
Better.
Oh,
Perfect.
Get bent.
Perfect.
What's going
yeah,
on?
I mean, technology.
We got
stuff,
the whole game here.
Man, are you
John,
in
how
the
doing,
are you
buddy?
in the tanning booth right now? God.
Okay, Don, you got like a lot of shit to say right now. How about you talk
Hey
some
man,
shit
I
about the
cut my
fucking
finger
Bills,
open
not my
today. I got to
fucking
take it out on somebody. Okay.
Show it. You're playing
Oh,
hurt.
we can't put that on
Congrats.
the stream, man.
So let's go
Dude,
through
we were
the
just starting to talk
let's-
about the AFC
Nice,
and
no.
NFC playoffs.
Dude, that NFC thing's like rough. We're not gonna know for a while for the NFC, correct?
until the end of
At
tonight.
least till tonight.
Until this game's
We'll
over.
know they're gonna put the games out. Schefter should have that out in like the next 15 minutes. As far as like when the games are gonna be like time wise. But so we'll know where either Minnesota Tampa or Detroit Tampa is what time they're gonna be playing.
Right.
But as far as that goes, that first seed gets the bye. The fifth seed moves down. So winner gets the bye tonight. Loser goes to fifth seed and is going to play in Tampa, right?
Don, are you sitting real quick? Don, are you sitting on your microphone right now? I can hear like when you get a buzz. I can hear like when it's just like.
That's his phone.
No, man, it's just hypersensitive. I'll turn it down here.
All right. So,
It's all good. No, I know like a lot of. I mean, when this tweet does go out, I mean, not to get like weird, a lot of things are affected. Businesses are affected. Childcare in Buffalo is affected. Monday mornings are affected. No, seriously. I've had Ilio text me. Matt text me like 100 times, being like, I'm not really sure. Like, I hope the game's not at like Sunday at 4:00 because that kills a whole day of business. Sunday at 4:00 is going to kill a lot of people's Monday morning work days.
Yeah.
Because people really gear up for this stuff, and there's huge implications with the weather. Everybody knows. I mean, Don, you've been to Buffalo a million times. Matt, you live in Cheek to Vegas, not to out your abode, but there can be a complete impasse of a weather differential between a Saturday at 1 or like a Sunday at 8 p.m. I mean, it's absolutely it's nuts. What are you guys kind of hoping for in terms of where we get slotted here? What, like, both for your fandom, both for maximum rest time, both for you got a whole slate of 18 games, of which we played a lot of primetime games. We played a lot of normal, regular ass 1 p.m. games. What are you guys kind of gunning for? Which day? I'd start with Matt. Which day you'd rather have? Then I'll swing it to Don, and then
I'm okay.
Back time.
Yeah, I'm okay with 1:00 on
Sure,
Sunday. Like that's perfectly fine with me because it allows us to watch a lot of other football rather than having to wait until Monday or something like that where we waiting on whoever's playing.
Waiting all day for a Sunday night.
Exactly.
Where you going with that?
So,
Don, what about you?
I kind of want us to have that Saturday first game.
Just get it out.
Broncos
is that
just
selfish?
no. I mean,
Or
Broncos.
is that like on like you think that's what we're gonna get we'll play the best? That Broncos game didn't look bad. Bo Nix doesn't look bad.
No, he didn't. No, so where I'm going with that is like the Broncos did just play, so that's one we did just play, but we really didn't just play,
that.
right? So our guys are going to be fresher, so it's one less day of rest for them, and it's going to throw them off. They're coming from the West Coast or Denver, not really West Coast, but the Western
Mountain time.
US. Yeah, Mountain time, traveling all the way back east. So, and then say we should win that game, that's an extra day of rest for us, leading to the next round potentially.
Well,
So
and that's
I don't hate
that's
that
why-
logic.
That's why I think that the Ravens
Go on, Matt.
Steelers are going to be on Saturday night. I think they're probably going to put an NFC game earlier than that. So I think that kind of. So I think your Washington Tampa Bay goes on that 4 o'clock for NFC, and then the Ravens Steelers on that 8 o'clock window on Saturday. Only because that gives them that 7 days in between. Other than that,
Well,
I mean,
let's not pretend that the NFL cares about an equitable scheduling. I mean, how many times have somebody gone from a Sunday night game and then flipped it right around to Thursday?
But that's during the season, though. That's during the season.
I'm just saying it's the same enterprise that sets the scheduling. I mean, no one
get
cares
that,
about
but
fair and equitable. They care about
I
ratings.
get that, but
and,
they want the most ratings. So if you're
Right.
gonna put a crappy game on because they only have 4 days of rest or 6 days of rest or something, they're not gonna do that. They're gonna try and put the guys that have the most rest, so it's a better game. So that
I think those are two opposite sides of the. I think those are two opposite sides of the coin, and they're not correlated.
Yeah,
wait, Don, you agree with Matt?
No, I agree with you. I don't think they're
Yeah, they
correlated.
don't care about equity. They don't care about fair and equitable rest.
It's
They care
ratings.
about
They
the-
don't care. They just
Exactly.
They just made the Chiefs play on Christmas on a Wednesday.
Yeah,
On a
yeah,
Wednesday.
I gotta go
Come on.
against you on that. That while that
fine.
does make sense. No. Listen. While that does make sense, that you would obviously get a more peak performance, granting the physical humanistic body more rest. While that does make sense, fans don't give a shit about
They
that.
don't care.
Fans are tuning in
They
for
don't
their
care.
team. While I do hear you, I just think that's a little too Boy Scout of you to think that like the NFL gives a shit about that.
No,
Or
and
music.
I'm not saying the NFL gives a shit, but I think that they're trying to put the best games in the best spots also. It's not necessarily because of rest, but I think that if they give the Steelers and Ravens that 8 o'clock spot, that puts the fair time between it. So I mean, I don't know. You guys might be right, but I still think it's going to be Washington, Tampa, on that 4:30 slot on Saturday, and then I think it's going to be the Steelers, Ravens on that Saturday night. I think it's going to be Bills 1 o'clock. I think it's going to be probably an NFC game at the 4 o'clock. Probably the Minnesota Rams or Lions-Rams game at the 4 o'clock window, and then the late game would probably be
Green Bay and Philly.
Green Bay, Philly, and then
Now, is any of this going to interfere with WWE SmackDown for you, Matt? Are you going to have a scheduling conflict?
why would it matter?
Don, joke slaps, correct? What are we doing about a podcast? Tell them this Friday, Matt. We got anything cooking right now? Are we going to amend the schedule at all? Just because, what if we do draw that Saturday game?
What's the point?
Find out tonight.
We got to move a lot of things up.
We'll know tonight.
I mean, we don't have to move
Yeah.
anything. I mean, truly. I mean, what do we have to move? We're still.
Well, I don't
going at 9
think Jake's want. Yeah, that's true. I don't know if Jake's going to want to do a show when the Bills are playing.
No,
I don't
no,
think anybody's
absolutely.
gonna-
I also don't.
No.
I also don't think it makes sense for us to do a no one to blame when the schedule's halfway through. So
Right. No, that's
Sure,
why I
yeah.
think they're
I
going.
mean-
I think they're going on Saturday morning. So let me update this. So we're coast to coast is
That's
on
kind of
Tuesday.
what I was trying to echelon you into doing.
Tuesday night is going to be No One to Blame's their recap show. Wednesday is Coast to Coast with Brian and Whittle, or Beyond and Whittle. Friday is Third and Manageable. Saturday morning is going to be Hockey Hotline at 10 a.m. And then at 11:15, No One to Blame's preview show. They're going to preview all the NFL matchups, betting-wise and everything like that. And then Jake, we don't know when his show is going to fit in yet. Maybe we move his to Thursday. We're going to have to
That's
figure
pretty
that
well
out with
said.
him. We're going to have to figure that out with him, but you should see the Buffalo Blueprint at some point during this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
you know.
Shout out to everybody who took a listen to us this weekend. Shout out to everybody who's listening to now. We are sponsored by Iliot Apollo's 3785 South Park Avenue. Sponsored by Fubo TV. We're sponsored by FanDuel. We're sponsored by Beauty Pools, Kayak Pools, Sons of Erie, the CX Chronicles, Lardon Construction Group, WGG, Mackenzie Tree Farm, and Altered Grounds. landscaping. So that is the update. That's how we played the Bills here. Matt, just quickly, I got to give you, I was re-listening to the Third Manageable podcast, and I kind of was clowning on you a little bit about Josh only playing one play. Turns out you were right. I thought that would have been a little too hokey. I thought that would have been kind of like, not in the spirit of, like, you don't like see, Cal Ripken take batting practice and then go through one batter. You know what I mean? So,
no, and I get that, but what basically the way it looked to me is it's not like it was like, oh, Josh needs one more touchdown for a record, so they kept him out the entire game. Oh, the Bills got it down to the goal line, put it on the half-yard line, and now Josh is pushing it in.
Well, this is also why it's bullshit, too. What if we came out in the Wildcat formation with James Cook? For any reason this season, James Cook gets to start at quarterback.
No, absolutely. Completely understand
That's the truth. No, Dom, that's the truth. That's why Matt Castle had a start in 2015 is because we came back and we split out Tyrod Taylor at wide receiver.
Yep.
It's a weird thing. So that's why I was just like, man, that's kind of corny, but
whatever.
It
is, but he's got that consecutive game streak going, which
what is the record? Do we know?
I think it's 3-12 or something like that. Brett Favre holds that record. So
sure, yeah. Still remember that game after his dad died at Monday Night Football when he was
against the Raiders.
What a crazy one.
Yeah.
So I wanted to touch on one real quick thing with both of you guys that has really been letting my I'll give you a hint. My blood is still a little boiling a little bit. That the everybody eats thing. That all the people that had problems with everybody eats. I would just kindly, in the bottom of my heart, would just like to say, take it as deep as possible.
Shut up already.
Take it as deep as possible. Like how we win games. Yeah.
I know it's hokey and corny.
Matt, you know exactly
whatever,
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's hokey and corny and whatever, but it's 100% the truth that literally the Bills are not tying that record and having a chance to, set that record for the most players to catch a touchdown. I wish they would have done that. I mean, I saw Gilliam wide open on the Ray Davis, the play before the Ray Davis touchdown. I was hoping Trubisky would have thrown it to him, but whatever. At this point, they tied the record. They tied themselves from back in 2021 or whatever it was. When they had touchdown Jesus on the team in Kumaro, and he was the tying guy.
I'm not sure anybody called him touchdown Jesus besides
you. They did. They did. No, they did.
Who's they? What do you mean, you people?
Anyway, we don't do that. We don't do that. Go ahead.
To quote the great Shannon Sharp. What do you mean, you people? Anyway, I just thought it was a great thing that everybody got involved on this season. It's been nothing but a joy to watch, and it's been nothing but just an absolute flaming coal in my pants just to recant on all the people that had problems with how we win. We won a lot of them. This one, I mean, if it would have went start to finish, Drake May versus Josh, not to play hypotheticals, guys, what do you see the score being if it would have been a full game if this game would have happened in week 4?
Yeah, I think it would have been very similar to the first one. I think it would have been, probably a 31-21 type game, 31-24 type game. Maybe the Bills, maybe it's 24-17, 24-21 type game. But I don't think that it's, because they're still playing for something. Had this not been a Week 18 game. And that's, as much as I feel bad for, Cincinnati or whatever, don't start, 0-2. Don't lose to the Patriots, the lowly Patriots in the first game.
It's kind of like the Miami thing, too. Don't lose to the Colts, don't lose to the Titans,
Yeah,
Titans lock up the number 1 position today.
It's simply, if you don't lose to the Patriots the first week of the season, the Bengals are in the playoffs right now, and we're probably playing the Bengals rather than the Broncos. So,
those games end. Don, what do you think about that one? Do you think the Patriots got stronger? Do we altered at all going into next year? And how's it kind of feel that they're not locking up the number 1 pick that actually goes to the Tennessee Titans, effective as of right now?
Yeah, I don't think it makes too much of a difference as far as the player they're going to select with that first pick that they have.
You think
They're probably getting the first non quarterback in the draft. I'd be shocked if they get anyone else besides that. Now, where it does hurt them is like trade back opportunities. They probably could have traded back a couple spots just to
pick up some equity. Yeah.
So that's where I'd go with it. As far as their team, I don't know if Gerard Mayo was ever the right hire. I don't think it made sense. In my opinion, I'd love for them to hire a defensive guy because it'll just slow down Drake May's development, if at all. But whatever.
Yeah, where's Matt Patricia these days? Matt, do you have any idea? Speaking of defensive guys, but I mean, Matt Patricia has coached on both sides of the field. The guy from Rents to the Air.
We're actually of the mind. Mike Vrabel's either going to go to the Patriots or the Bears. He's going to go to one of those two teams. Why'd they fire him? Why'd they fire him an hour after? I mean, Vrabel has a great relationship with Robert Kraft, so we'll definitely see what happens. But Vrabel has a good defense to come into. He has a semi-competent offense. Yeah, I mean, you got Christian Gonzalez, you have Christian Barrymore coming back next year.
I get that, but a lot of people are coming. This Vrabel rumor, you know where it started. Start with Gronk. Gronk went on. Gronk went on Fox Sports, but Gronk will say anything. Gronk went on Fox.
Even still, go ahead.
I mean, that's where it started from. We're never going to pull back the curtain on who's talking to who. I mean, and also, I do agree with what you said. They fired him 1 hour after the game, so it was true that means these wheels were in motion at least 2 weeks ago, right? Because it didn't matter win, lose, or draws today, right?
Well, I mean,
I think if they lose today, well, no, they have to be. If it's 1 hour after the game, it's and they won. That means that was in motion.
That's not something you do. You don't do that without already knowing you're going to do it before.
Yeah. Like these wheels. These wheels are in motion. Yeah.
All I'm saying is, if it was me as the owner, I would have gotten so pissed off that I probably would have fired him for losing today or winning today.
That's not how Mr. Kraft works, though.
I'm just saying,
Mr. Kraft, took forever to release fucking Aaron Hernandez. Like, he's a little bit not to get dark. That's what it is, though. Yeah. It's what it is. We bring back. They brought back Josh McDaniels twice. Like, he's not a very far from the hip kind of guy, especially when he gave all of that time to Bill Belichick, right? He gave all that time to Bill.
Yeah, basically what that's telling me then is this is Gerard Mayo's last fuck you to Robert Kraft.
But he got fired. How's that a fuck you to him?
Don, you want to answer that one for me?
I mean, under my interpretation, he's still getting paid, so I don't know if he cares.
I mean, he definitely cares about getting fired from the NFL. Let's get that straight.
Yeah, that part. Yeah, sure. I think that he would get another job.
I don't get how this is Mayo's fuck you to Kraft.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because for them winning, they now don't have the first overall pick.
You think that somehow had any motivation in
100%?
Like Mayo knew he was getting fired, so I'm going to coach my heart out to win to fuck the franchise of which he played for.
Absolutely.
But Mayo was a fan of the Patriots and growing up. I think he was in that Virginia bracket. I know I played against his brother in college, but he grew up a Patriots fan. He played for the Patriots. Now he coached for the Patriots. Now you think he wants to fuck the Patriots based on personal?
And they gave him that job without interviewing anyone.
Yeah.
That was in a contract, though. That was a success.
It doesn't matter. It was still part of his contract. Why did they put the language in there?
I agree with nothing you say, Matt, today.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'll be the lone wolf over here.
He's getting so huffy.
He is.
So anyway, guys, did you guys already do the peek in the pit?
We haven't touched that yet. We were getting away from the Bills. We weren't talking Bills.
Okay, hit me with it. I got a couple more minutes, so hit me.
I did miss the second half of the game, so.
And the second half of your middle finger, apparently.
We just didn't feel like there was enough going on during the Bills game today that really made any bit of difference for anything. To touch on Friday's peek and pit, we got out of the game healthy.
Yep, that's what I was going to say.
Running back room did well. So as far as that goes, we're just starting to get into the playoffs. So NFC bracket, you're going to have either. We'll go through it real quickly. You're going to either have
Green Bay at Philly, Minnesota or Detroit at the Rams, Washington at Tampa, and then Detroit or Minnesota on the bye. I didn't know that Tampa's win today and the Rams' loss got the 3rd seed.
It swapped them. Yep.
I didn't know that was the case. I didn't know that game. It was weird because the Rams sat everybody. I didn't know that was the case.
I think that McVay was, more worried about rest with an older quarterback in Matthew Stafford than actually going out and winning that game.
I mean, having to play Detroit or Minnesota versus Washington is a pretty big difference.
Correct. I agree with that as well. I do agree with that.
I also don't remember what would have happened though if Green Bay would have won. They lost to the Bears. I don't know how much of a difference that would have made. Maybe Green Bay goes to Tampa then.
No, I don't think it would have made any bit of difference. To be honest with you, because you're gonna, I mean, they could have moved up one spot to 6. I'd have to go check the records and check everything like
check
that.
tape.
But yeah, pretty much. But no, that's and Don, do you? So I'm gonna with the NFC. Well, let's go through the AFC bracket and then we'll make our predictions. We have not checked this, Twitter or anything like that yet. So let's do this real quickly before that comes out, so we can make our predictions here. As far as the schedule, go ahead, Don. AFC
with the
AFC.
With the AFC. So yeah, we got Denver coming to Buffalo. We got the Chargers heading to Houston. Pittsburgh at Baltimore, which 3rd time, and Kansas City on the bye. How do you guys feel about 26 days off for Kansas City?
I don't know.
4 days off, like
Chiefs are the Chiefs in the playoffs, homie.
I agree with that.
That's what I think,
point.
but like
I agree to that to a point, but also too, I mean, we saw how much rust they were knocking off against the Bills as well last year, or a couple of years ago, or not the Bills. I'm sorry. Yes, the Bills. The Bills. No, it was the Bills, wasn't it? In 20, because the last time they had it, the last time they played like the last time they played, or the last time they were the 1 seed. I apologize. The last time they were the 1 seed,
2 years ago.
Yes, they did the same thing. They had the 24 days off or whatever. They played who in the divisional? Because the Bills played the Bengals.
We lost to the Bengals.
Correct. And I can't remember who it is.
No.
I can't remember who it was. It was either the Titans or the Texans, wasn't it? I think it was maybe the Texans when Deshaun Watson was still there.
I'll find out.
Yeah, please do, because it's gonna hurt my brain at this point right now. But with that being said, I think that it's a good thing for them to get everybody healthy, but also too, I think you're still knocking a little rust off. Yes, you're still practicing, but it does mean something to play those, and that's why I do think that they should have played Mahomes a little bit today.
Mahomes backed up, dude. He's banged up. Yeah, people take a lot of opinions about him being fake injured and stuff like that. That's just not who the guy is. He's not fake injured. He's banged up, so I wouldn't have played him. I think that was perfect. But to get Mahomes.
Oh yeah. It was they beat Jacksonville that year.
But they still almost lost to Jacksonville that game, if you remember correctly. Yeah,
closer. Yeah.
Right. So on the Maddie, on the NFC side here, you got to look at that slate right there. You got Minnesota versus LA Rams with Detroit having the bye.
We don't know yet.
Well, this is how it stands now. Stands now. Washington, Tampa Bay, and that. Is there any games that are kind of circled there that you do kind of like? I do think it's an amazing thing that Detroit, like a 16-2 or whatever the fuck they are, Detroit could play like a 15 or 16-1, whatever it is, play such a high level Minnesota Vikings team.
Yeah, they're both one's 13 and
be 13-3 after today, or something.
13-3 and 14 and. No, 13
I got it right here. Let's stop. They're both 14-2 right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
On the other side to the AFC, like if you go to anything else, there's not really any other compelling, terribly compelling things. That Baltimore Pittsburgh game is going to be absolutely a dogfight.
That's going to be a great
100%.
game. That's going to be a great game. I think on the NFC side, I think my games to watch are going to be the Washington-Tampa Bay game with Jaden Daniels and Baker Mayfield, respectively for the quarterbacking their team. I think that Green Bay Philly game is going to be an amazing.
I think that's going to be dude. I think
I think that is going to be the Pittsburgh-Baltimore version of the NFC side. Like, both these teams love to run the ball. Yeah, they both play good. Well, I want to say Green Bay's defense is pretty banged up right now, but like the over/under is probably going to come out at like 45 in that game, and like I don't even know if it's close to that.
Did you see the line in the Bills game already?
Yeah, 8.5.
8.5. The Bills are.
That's chunky. Yo, that is chunky.
Thick.
Yeah.
Yikes. Well, I'll tell you guys are going to have to tune in to No One to Blame going off at 11:15 on Saturday morning, because I know Jesse's going to have a ton to say about that. I know Kevin's going to have a lot to say about that. I know Jake's going to have a lot to say about that. Speaking of that show, everywhere on Do Champions, we are sponsored by Ilio DePaulo's, 3785 South Park Avenue. Call 716-825-3675 for your reservations. The official sports book of Do Champions will always be FanDuel. Check out FanDuel. You code DO for some amazing betting accelerators. Please, as always, gamble responsibly. If you're going to be watching the games, please consider choosing Fubo TV. Man, I have it right now, and it's been fantastic. Went to a Worlds with my other cable provider, and Fubo TV has been fantastic. Additionally, kayak pools, beauty pools, Sons of Erie, Altered Grounds, Mackenzie Tree Farm, and rounding that out, Larson Construction and CX Chronicles.
W.GG.
W.GG.
Guys, what do you think? What do you think about Pete Carroll going to the Bears? That just got popped up on Twitter for me.
That just hit your algo.
Yeah. That's not a bad
Burn
one
your algo.
That's not a bad one either, because look what he did with Russell Wilson. Look what he did for Russell Wilson. You get somebody like that. They
hated each other. Said,
At the end, sure, but that's not saying that he didn't.
The first 8 years of the marriage were great. Yeah, I killed her in the end before the divorce, but
all I'm saying is you have to get somebody in there that's an adult in the room that's going to help Caleb Williams. That's going to help Caleb Williams grow. No matter what I think about him and anything like that, the kid still is a kid, and if you get an adult in there that's going to help him grow, he may be able to have a good career and help.
I don't know, bro. You're starting to soften your stance. I'm starting to think that you're like more of a human. You were like, this guy stinks. You're like, he stinks.
Don,
period.
Don.
And
what did I say? What did I say
you
earlier on the show?
Matt, look at me. I do 95 shows a year with you. You have never been a Caleb Williams fan. Why do you want to swallow him like a newborn baby now?
I wasn't. I still think he's a bust.
He gets the right coach.
I think
he doesn't have the right quarterback room. I think Mitch Trubisky probably would have provided him more tutelage. But I think if Trubisky signed until 2025, much like McWhite. But
yeah,
I don't know. Just to go back to
let's break this down real quick.
Yeah, break it up real quick. Here we go.
So yeah, real quickly. Let's. Who's your prediction for 4:00 on Saturday, Don?
Who's 4:00 on Saturday?
No.
Are we?
Who do you think is going to be playing?
Are we predicting who?
You're going to do both. You're going to do both. You're going to predict the game that's going to go in that slot, and then who's going to win that game.
Okay, I think they're going to put the Chargers-Houston game there. I don't want that game. I want the Bills-Denver game.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything exciting about that Chargers-Houston game at all. And I think
I don't either.
First.
I don't either.
That or it'll be the 1 o'clock game. But Chargers played good football today. I haven't seen anything from Houston. They're so banged up. I haven't seen anything from Houston saying do anything in the playoffs. So,
yeah, I'd have to agree with Don. I think the AFC game goes first just by nature of the teams playing in them. But that's a problem because Houston's on – we'll just think about it in terms of time brackets. Houston's in Central Time. LA is obviously in Pacific Coast Time. So that 1 o'clock game might not make sense, right? You got Buffalo, Denver. you got Denver in plus 2 hours in Mountain Time, and then you have Buffalo at Eastern Standard Time. And then you have Pittsburgh, Baltimore. So what makes sense, if the AFC game on Saturday gets slotted as first, I believe that's going to be Pittsburgh, Baltimore. That's a 1 p.m. game, and you're an East Coast audience. The 4 p.m. game.
4 o'clock game on Saturday.
4 o'clock game Saturday. Okay, so that'll be the 4 o'clock game. The 8 o'clock game. That's also, I think they're going to give. They're going to give it to Green Bay and Philly. I don't think, you got the LA Rams, obviously the Pacific Coast time and Central time there. For some reason, I think you got Green Bay, Philly. These are all, and then the 6 and 3. That's a West Coast time game for Washington, Tampa Bay. So I think it's going to be. Honestly, I think. Let me revert that. I think it's going to be Minnesota Rams for the 8 o'clock game. Does that make sense? My logic there.
It does. Who I have is the 4 o'clock game. I have Tampa Bay, Washington, and then I have the 8 o'clock game. I have Pittsburgh and Baltimore. You're keeping it East Coast. You're having an East Coast Saturday. Yeah, and I
no
have
West Coast teams playing.
No, not on Saturday.
Or Mountain West.
And then I have Washington beating Tampa in that game, and then I have Pittsburgh beating Baltimore.
Interesting. All right, round it up. What do we got?
I have a question on what have you seen from Pittsburgh that makes you think that they've lost 4 in a row?
It's the defense. It's the defense. It's the defense. I think that they know how to play. It's kind of like how Miami plays us very, very well, right? Because they see it.
Yeah.
They see it. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in a year. It's hard to beat a team twice. Yeah, exactly. And I truly think that Pittsburgh will go above Pittsburgh or above Baltimore. Because of their defense. I think their defense is way better than Baltimore's. I think that they know how to. I think Mike Tomlin knows how to stop Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson.
So Matt, if that happens, then we're playing Houston or the Chargers. If we win.
Correct.
So that changes everything.
Correct.
Yeah. I don't know. And then what time we got potentially for Sunday? We got what, ones and fours?
We got 1 o'clock on Sunday. You got 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 8 o'clock.
Wow, so that's a big slate there. Don, you want to take a stab at what you got left?
Probably Washington, Tampa, that early game, 1 o'clock, and then they'll wrap it up with whoever the Rams are going to end up playing. That's probably that or the Philly game. Either one could go to either slot. I don't think it matters.
And then who do you have at 8 o'clock? Who do you have at 8 o'clock?
I would love whoever the Rams play at 8 o'clock. I don't think it matters who.
It's got to be the 8 o'clock game on Sunday has to be a West Coast team. It has to be. It would make absolutely no sense to keep that to the East Coast. Then you have half the country effectively tuning out. Yeah. So
and also I think that if you're looking at the schedule, like what 2 games are the most likely to have what we would call fireworks, like a shootout, it's going to be if the Lions lose tonight, it's whoever the Lions play, and then the Washington-Tampa game. And I don't think that they're going to put a Washington-Tampa game at 8 o'clock. So you're looking at LA crowd and a Minnesota crowd, or you could get a dogfight with the Packers-Eagles. But
and that's
really what I see. And then you get a Monday night game. We got a Monday night game too.
Well, we aren't there. We aren't there yet. Yeah. Go ahead, student. Who do you got? 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
The late night game, I do believe, is going to be. I would say it's got to be like on West Coast leaning. So I would say probably maybe like LA Houston probably, but because you got. I'm just going by time zones. I think like that the 8 o'clock there. The 4 o'clock, if the Bills don't play at 1 the previous day, I think they'll play at 4. Or I'm sorry, 4 o'clock the previous day, they'll play at 4 on Sunday. And I have no predictions. I know games that I don't give a shit about. Or if I had to pick the best bits out of the schedule, I'm going to say I absolutely love a Green Bay Philly game, and I absolutely love a Philly Pittsburgh game. For those two.
Breaking news: Tyreek Hill wants out of Miami.
Yep.
He said, "I'm opening the door. I'm out, bro." And then basically said it's been great playing here, etc., etc. So
wow.
Well, for him to be out of the division, well, who knows? But
yeah, we'll definitely see what happens because there's a lot of players say a lot of things when they're when they're down.
Yeah,
when they're emotional.
Yeah, so we'll leave that alone for the off season time of it. But real quickly, so mine would be 1:00. I have the Bills Broncos. 4:00 would be the Houston Chargers game, and then 8:00 would be your Minnesota Rams. I have the Bills winning. I have Houston winning, and then I would have Minnesota over top of the Rams.
I was just looking up a Tyreek article, by the way, just to close that out. Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
this is effective as of May 6, 2024. Tyreek Hill says he absolutely wants to retire in Miami. We determined on our lie detector test that too was a lie.
Did you see his contract, by the way? Like, Miami's eating it. I don't know if they can let him go because of that contract, man. It's brutal.
Yeah, well, he's pretty generous. Hey, guys, I do have to jump as you guys run the show. Once again, listen to the Third and Management podcast on Friday. We'll be going off somewhere around 9:00. Check out Don all week on Twitter. Don, you've been a welcomed addition to the post-game show. So check out Don, typically with Matt and I. Post-game show, you got No One to Blame going off at 11:15 on Saturday. You got the Buffalo Blueprint somehow on Saturday. You got Whittle and Beyond, kind of a can't-miss guys from coast to coast that goes off at Wednesday.
Go watch that show, guys. It's
9 p.m. We're gonna have probably have a little group think tomorrow between all the Do crew. Whether it be join us in some discourse on Twitter, or if we decide to go live tomorrow night just to analyze with more efficiency our playoff breakdown. But this is Student Body. Sign off, guys. Have a good rest of the show. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
See you. That was quick. All right. Didn't even say
absolutely. So let's finish up with that Monday.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. Monday night. I want the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game. I think it's a great narrative for Monday night.
I think that would be a hell of a game on Monday. Yeah,
it'd be a great way to wrap it up. Like maybe we get some snow, like just grind it out, pound the rock, like be interesting.
I actually have the Philly Green Bay game on that Monday night.
I think either of those are fine. I just, if you're talking narrative viewership, like what's the easiest to promote, the biggest fan bases, like that's it right there.
And that's the thing. I have the 8:00 game. On that Saturday is Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Monday being Green Bay and Philly. I think you could literally switch those and still have an amazing weekend. Yeah.
I think they're going to be very similar types of games too. Like, Jordan Love's hurt. That's a big thing, by the way. So Jordan Love is hurt, and Jalen Hurts hasn't cleared the concussion protocol yet.
Correct.
That's two really big things.
Could you imagine that game? Yeah.
Like now that I'm thinking about that, like they could slot that at like 1:00 on Sunday if we don't get any word. Like we're gonna know tonight about that. Like they could slot that at 1:00 or 4:30 on Sunday, because I don't know if they want to put that in prime time and take that risk of those guys not playing. I'm sure Jordan Love's gotten X-rays and we'll know what's going on with him. And I'd be surprised if Hurts doesn't clear concussion, but like we've seen this last 4, 5, 6 weeks for guys.
I definitely would be surprised if he doesn't clear. But I'm just checking Twitter right now just to see if Adam Schefter has put that out yet. Yeah, I don't see anything yet, but so we're probably going to be off of here before that comes out. I would have loved to be on here as it comes out, but
we'll put it out. We'll get it out. Make sure it's out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make the travel plans and get that out.
Absolutely. So, with that being said, anything else we got to wrap up here, Don? We made our predictions for the games. Made our predictions for time slots. Talked a little bit about all that stuff. I think that it's going to be a hell of a super wild card weekend. Definitely enjoy watching it with your family. Enjoy watching it with us. Enjoy, because we're gonna go live Monday night. Also, after the wild card weekend wraps up, maybe before, so it's not super late, maybe before the game, but we'll definitely figure that out. I do want to probably do something live before, on Saturday if we haven't figured out for Jake for Buffalo Blueprint. Maybe we talk him into going on earlier before the 4:00 game there. We'll figure that out. We'll talk amongst ourselves this week and figure that out. But we want to thank all of our sponsors. And Don, we're in the best time of the year right now because you got everything going on. You got hockey, you got basketball, you got football, playoff football. This is what we've been waiting for, right? This is exactly what we've been waiting for, kind of pushing through the entire season, getting away from all the narratives and everything like that. Everybody in the playoffs is 0-0.
The regular season does not matter now. Doesn't matter who you're playing. Throw everything out the door. Forget what you saw as far as tendencies, what schemes you saw. You'll see similarities, but like the Chiefs are renowned for just doing something totally different in the playoffs. I'm sure teams saw that last year. There's going to be some teams that do that this year.
Correct.
So don't be surprised when you
if
see
there's
teams
some
do
upsets,
stuff that's way off.
Seriously, that's why I truly think that Pittsburgh knows how to play in the playoffs. I think you may see some Lamar come back, playoff Lamar come back. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, it's a divisional game. We saw it a couple years ago. We were up 17 on the Dolphins, and they came back and almost beat us. So I mean, a lot of things can happen when you're playing divisional opponents. I'm excited to see these games this weekend, and thank you to all our sponsors. Thank you to all our viewers tonight on the Champions Postgame show. And Don, as always,
good to be seen.